if you can introduce yourself and tell us what it is that you do and how you arrived there on top of a physics degree.
Yeah, so hi, my name's Mike Weir. I'm a Nottingham Research Fellow here in the School of Physics and Astronomy. I'm in hallowed turf because this is where I did my degree a long time ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But that's not to say I knew what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing when I came to university. I knew I wanted to do physics. To an extent, I coasted through things like A-levels a little bit without really perhaps applying myself. So I got to Nottingham with a love for physics for sure, but without any clear direction. And I really shopped around option modules and kind of doing lots of different things until I finally found my direction. And what really helped me to find a direction was to have a personal tutor who I found a connection with. Not only personally because they were a good tutor, but because they had a really good project for me to do. And actually I ended up working in that area. So I decided to stay in research. And so I want to say I did not know that I was going to be a PhD researcher. I did not know I was going to stay in physics at all. And I didn't even know which area of physics I was going to do. And so from there, it was all launched, from that point. And doing a PhD led on to postdoctoral work, and which involved me traveling around. And every time I changed my job over the years, I changed my subject area a little bit until now I'm actually in a completely different area than I first began. But of course, there's a golden thread running through this all, which is the experience that I've kept. Every time I moved, I kept a little bit of that experience, and so it all adds up to a new picture of me now working on thermoelectrics, say for renewable energy, which is not what I started doing. And I think as physicists, our mission is to make the biggest difference that we can. I'm pleased that I found that button to press basically in my career. Say, look, I've got a physics degree from Nottingham. I'm now using it back at Nottingham, which is a great privilege to try and make the biggest difference that I can.
A lot of our physics students are hesitating between an academic career and an industrial career. They're driven by the passion for physics and at the same time constrained by not having a clear overview what opportunities in the industry are. You chose an academic path. Any piece of advice to those students hesitating between the academe and industry?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and I think the difference between academia and industry is a big one, but that's mainly because industry is so much more things than people realise it is. So academia is this one kind of career path that's within the university and trying to be now in Nottingham an assistant professor and such, versus industry, which actually covers a multitude of different things. So I think the first thing to think about is, what is industry? And I think to do your research on what jobs are out there from as early a stage as you can is a really, really good a good piece of advice, because then you're not going to be going to thinking of industry as this behemoth. It's actually thousands of separate jobs, and each of them has their own merits and are going to appeal to different people. And what I'd say as well is, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I made mistakes in my career. I went to a company to work and I didn't really enjoy that particular job. While it was exciting, obviously, when I was applying, it didn't turn out to be the job that I wanted. And I came back to academia at that point, and actually with a renewed vigour, because I knew that part of industry wasn't for me. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. They are not irreversible. Trying things is the best way to find out whether you like them, and doing your research out there on the internet and in person is really valuable.
So you are a mid-career professional. So we tend to think about people with an established career track as successful, and this is the case because you arrived where you are now, which is an indicator of your achievement. Can you maybe give us examples of negative lessons or things that didn't work out, or proposals that fell through, job applications that were rejected? What is the share of those in your career track? We need a full picture, not only the what worked out part.
Sure. So we're going full disclosure then on things that have gone right versus things that have gone wrong. And I I should be quite honest and say that I applied for 15 academic positions before I got the one fellowship, which is kind of on the verge of academic position that I'm currently doing. I spent a lot of my life applying for things, so this is something that people in academia should have an open mind about. Even if you're successful, a lot of your job would be applying for funds. That is a reality of the UK academia sector. So yeah, I failed many times, but each time that I had a failed application for either a lectureship or a fellowship, I had that material, it was mine, and I used it to strengthen my next case. So, you know, keeping a record of applications, keep a folder, be open about it with people, and stickability, really. Just staying in the game. If you really want to do it, then you just need to keep applying and don't be put off. But at the same time, be kind to yourself. Remember, success does not define you. You know, you are not your job. You have many other things about you that are important. So, yeah, but be prepared to fill out a lot of forms.
Thank you very much. And any final word of inspiration to the incoming physics students, what they should brace themselves for?
Words of inspiration for incoming physics students. I think it's more of a calm message, which is that you are not a fully formed physicist when you come to Nottingham. You've got an interest in the subject, but allow that time to develop. You might find that the undergraduate process might knock a few corners off you, might bring you down to an extent, and you think, oh, I'm not the stratospheric physicist that I thought I was. That is a perfectly normal thing. I'm not the kind of physicist that's going to fill up the board with equations or have answers on instant recall. That isn't really a part of physics research that I recognise. I think it's much more about being a people person. This is a people business. So be yourself, be prepared to work and study, and be prepared to look out for opportunities to develop yourself. And just remember that you can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Well, thank you very much, Mike.